No, you are not experiencing deja vu. It is not a Mandela effect. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower. We are back. I want to talk about the end of the world. Yes, I know that we have Heidi Vandenberg coming up in about an hour and 15 minutes. And we will still have her in an hour and 15 minutes. But this idea is just burning in my mind. It won't be that long of an idea presentation, but I just had to get this off my chest. Hello, Jen Fuller. Hello, Lyndon. Hello, Chris. Hello, Recovering Soul. So I want to talk about the end of the world. And really more than the end of the world, I want to talk about our perceptions of the end of the world. Hi, Paul Daly. I want to talk about our perceptions of the end of the world. Hey, Stacey Henderson. It was on Fear Porn. Lewis Boyce, Lisa Greenfield. Hello, hello. So this whole end of the world thing, we're hearing so much about it again. And remember, we heard about the end of the world just in recent times, 1844, end of the world. 1914, end of the world. Hello, David, Adriana, Lewis. 1844 and 1914. 1975, end of the world. 1988, end of the world. 2011, end of the world. 2015, end of the world. It's the end of the world as we know it, and yet I still feel fine. And I've got a little news flash for you. I can tell you exactly what's going to happen on September 23rd, 2017, 12 midnight. It's going to be September the 24th, and all things will go on just as they always have. On September 24th, hey, Dan, it'll be the end of the world as we know it again, and I'll still feel fine on September 24th and December 24th for that matter. But every one of these no integrity, fear porn, clickbaiters that talked about, oh, it's going to happen, not one of them will have the integrity to say, you know what, I blew it. I'm going to take down my channel. I apologize. I've been proven a false prophet. I prophesied something that didn't happen. Not one of them will do it because they don't have the integrity. And I wish one of those, any one of those, yes, he will. Any one of these people that believe that in the September 23rd, 2017, Revelation 12 sign, I would love to debate you live. And I think I could find one or two people that'd be glad to moderate the debate. You have to have at least 10,000 subscribers or more to your channel. And I will debate you on fair and open ground. You're right, Lisa. On the September 23rd, 2017, Revelation 12 sign. Every one of you, email the Scott, what's his name, EMF Ministries, all these people that are putting it out, email them, say, hey, this Daugherty guy, he's been on Coast to Coast. He said he'll challenge you to a debate. That's the question, Phenom 27. What's the new date going to be? Secret Truth. Troll them now. Dare those cur dogs, those no integrity, afraid to meet me on the field of intellectual battle. Dare them to meet me. They won't do it because ever since Chris Putnam died, nobody has the guts or the ability really to debate me on any of these issues. It's not because I'm so smart. It's just because I've been doing it so long. I'm way older than I look. And I'll tell you, Chris Putnam, he was a Christian apologist, but he was a man that had a fair mind. He was a man that was able, he had the unique ability to have a spirited debate without making it too personal and without holding a grudge. I miss him, even though he probably hated me. I really appreciate the man. And he was the last of the true apologists with any integrity. And he schooled me. He taught me something. He taught me that you can't be too polite during a debate. I think he debated me to a draw. I might have got him on points, but it was because I was way too polite and I was trying to be polite and I let him get away with some jabs, and I should have went after him. I could have knocked him out. But he taught me a lesson. You can't afford to be too polite in a debate. So anyway, if any of you fraidy cat, scaredy cat, little mama boy, mama girl babies, is Tom Horn still alive? Does he have the stones to debate me? If any of you want to debate me, you know where I am. I'm standing right here. Come and get it. So anyway, end of the world. Let's talk about the end of the world. Oops, you know what? I didn't realize I said this. Come and get it. I didn't realize that you weren't seeing me. So let's go ahead and get into what I want to talk about. The end of the world. So I really wish I'd have been able to have that debate or that rant with my face, but you know what I was talking about. So let's talk about the end of the world. And what you have to realize is that when we're reading in the Bible about the end of the world, we're reading in the Bible about the end of the world. I'll say it again. When you're reading in the Bible about the end of the world, you have to remember that you're reading in the Bible about the end of the world. When you're reading Daniel out of the Old Testament, speaking about the end of the world, you have to remember that you're reading Daniel out of the Old Testament about the end of the world. When you're reading Ezekiel out of the Old Testament about the end of the world, you have to remember you're reading Ezekiel out of the Old Testament about the end of the world. When you're reading Matthew 24 about the end of the world. When you're reading 1st, 2nd Thessalonians about the end of the world. When you're reading Jude about the end of the world. When you're reading Revelation about the end of the world, you have to remember you're reading Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Revelation. You're reading those things out of the Bible about the end of the world. Crucial to understand that. Jeff, what in the world are you talking about? Well, let me show you what in the world I am talking about. I think this will make sense because you guys are smart people. Okay, end of the world. Let's talk about Daniel first. All right. We're reading about Daniel talking about the end of the world, right? And Daniel is what? Daniel's a biblical figure. That means Daniel's in the Bible. Do I need to go over that again? Was that too fast for anyone? And what was Daniel? Daniel was a notable Jewish youth of Jerusalem. Daniel was Jewish. Daniel was Jewish, and he wrote in the Bible. Daniel was Jewish. He wrote in the Bible, in the book of Daniel, which is in the Old Testament. Daniel. Let me look in the eye. Daniel, Jewish guy, writing the Old Testament, which is the Jewish Bible, about the end of the world. Back we go. So that's Daniel. Well, how about Isaiah? Isaiah wrote about the end of the world too. Okay, Isaiah, Jewish prophet, wrote the book of Isaiah in what? The Bible. You're picking it up. Oh, man. I wasn't sharing my screen. Sorry. Isaiah, Jewish prophet, wrote the book of Isaiah, which is out of the Bible, the Old Testament, which is the Jewish Bible. Daniel wrote out of the Bible because he was a Jewish prophet. Whoops. You know what I'm talking about. So they're Jewish guys. They're Jewish guys writing in a Jewish book about the end of the world. And what were Matthew, Mark, Luke, John? What were all the biblical writers? I'll wait. They were Jewish guys. The New Testament is essentially a Jewish book. Paul wrote 2/3 of it. He was Jewish. Old Testament, Jewish book. New Testament, Jewish book. Old Testament prophets, Jewish guys. New Testament writers, Jewish guys. When they're writing about the end of the world, they're writing about the end of the world in a biblical mindset. When they write about the end of the world, they're writing about the end of the world in a Jewish mindset. When they're talking about the end of the world doesn't mean to them what the end of the world means to you and I. We're not Jewish. We're not in the Bible. And I'll show you what I mean. It's like the Princess Bride. I do not think that word means what you think it means. I do not think their words mean what you think they mean. I do not think Daniel's words mean what you think Daniel's words mean. I do not think Ezekiel's words mean what you think Ezekiel's words mean. I do not think the words of Revelation mean what you think they mean. Let me show you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean. Siege of Jerusalem, AD 70. AD 70 was the year. Heidi Vandenberg's coming on in an hour, so I'm pacing myself. The Siege of Jerusalem in the year 70 was the decisive event of the First Jewish-Roman War. Basically, the Romans came kicking ass and taking names. They destroyed the city. Josephus said over 1 million people died because, dudes, check this out. This is cold, bro. This is cold. This is why Rome conquered the world and kept it for a long, long time. It was Passover time, right? They've got Jerusalem surrounded. Every Jew had to come, every Jewish male at least, had to come to Jerusalem on Passover. It's like the Muslims going to Mecca. Oh, did I say that? Oh, it's the very same thing. And they're, oh, we can't get into Jerusalem. It's terrible. But guess what? The Romans, they were nice guys. They were inclusive. They, allowed for the expression of faith, and they parted the ranks. And they literally let anybody that wanted to go into the city to celebrate the Passover go in the city. How amazing is that? They literally let anybody that wanted to go into the city to celebrate the Passover to go in. They broke the ranks of their army and let them go in. Jerusalem was usually around, I don't know, maybe somewhere between 30 and 50,000 people of inhabitants on a regular basis. Josephus told us that during Passover, 1 million people. Could you imagine? You're used to having 30 or 40,000 people around, and there's 1 million. But it's Passover. 4 times a year they had to go. So the Romans let them in. Hey, come on in. Come on. Yes, I know. Thank you. We're being kinder. We're being gentler. This is the New World Order. We're nice guys. Come on. Oh, yeah. Come on in. Come on in. No, thank you. Really, it's fine. Come on in. So they let them all in. And then they closed the gates when Passover was about to be over. And then they wouldn't let anybody out. They wouldn't let anybody out. It was like the Hotel California. You can check in anytime you like, but you can never leave. I don't know why I insist on doing that. I can't sing worth a damn, but welcome to the Hotel California. So there's 1 million people in a city that's built for 40K. And it didn't take long for the supplies and everything to run out, the water, the sewage, the food, and it was a horrific scene. So beware when the government wants to do something nice for you. Because guess what? They're not doing something nice for you. They're setting you up, bro. So 1 million people died in Jerusalem. And they took that temple, which was the very symbol of Jewish life, and they destroyed that sucker. They burnt it to the ground. And not only did they burn it to the ground, they broke apart every single stone and then plowed the area on which the temple once sat. Imagine 1 million fools in here. That's not a very big place. Wow. Think about that. Here's some of the stones, right? This is what it looked like when they left. They used some of these that were strewn to build this up. People don't understand that that wall isn't a wall of the temple. The Wailing Wall, that isn't a wall that was standing ever since the temple stood. No, it's a wall that they took and remade out of the stones of the temple that the Romans had decimated. They literally took apart every stone. Some say they took it apart because there was gold in the plaster between the bricks, between the stones. That's probably true, but there's more reason why they took it apart, and we'll talk about that someday. Not Sunday, someday. So yeah. And when you're talking about Jewish people writing in a Jewish religious book about the end of the world, this is what they're talking about, the siege of Jerusalem. To the Jewish mind, to Daniel's mind, to Ezekiel's mind, to Matthew's mind, to John's mind, to the minds of the Jewish people that wrote the Bible, this was the end of the world. This was the end of the world as they knew it. And trust me, they did not feel fine. It was the end of the world as they knew it, and they did not feel fine. Jeff, I don't believe you. I think you're pulling it out of context. I don't think that's what it means. I've read the scripture, and they're not talking about the destruction of Jerusalem. Really? Can you think of a better eschatology passage than Matthew 24? Go ahead. Take your time. Can you think of a better eschatology passage than Matthew 24? I bet you can't, because there's probably not one, and Jesus is talking. So, Jeff, let me get this straight. You're saying that when Daniel talks about the end of the world, he's talking about the destruction of Jerusalem. Yes. When Ezekiel talks about the end of the world, he's talking about destruction. Yes. When anybody in the Old Testament writes about the end of the world, they're talking about the destruction of Jerusalem. Yes. And Daniel's 70th week in particular talks about the destruction of Jerusalem. Get the book, watch the videos. Revelation 12 sign, September 23, 2017. So you're telling me in the New Testament, when they talk about in the world, they're talking about the destruction of Jerusalem? Really? Come on, man. All right. You're going to make me show you, aren't you? I got no problem with that. Here we go. Matthew 24, the great end time chapter. It's all in here. Lightning flashing from east to west. Moon turning into blood, stars falling from the sky. I felt a little William Shatner come over me there. Stars falling from the sky. And, you know, armies and killing, the blood to the bride. Oh man, it's a cornucopia. I mean, let's look at it. False Christ, witnessing to all nations, abomination of desolation, return of the Son of Man, fig tree. It's the day or the hour. No one knows the day or the hour except for these idiots that can call it on September 23rd, 2017, just like the idiots that did it in 1844, 1914, 1975, 1988, 2000, 2015. Be ready at any hour. Ooh, be afraid, be very afraid. It's all right here, man. Lightning shining from the east to the west. Tribulation. Ooh, the tribulation of those days. It's going to be the worst. Sun darkened, moon won't give her light, stars will fall from heaven. Oh, sign is going to appear in heaven. Trumpet, angels, gather the elect. Oh, what am I going to do? The September 23rd people tell me this is coming. Lightning east to the west. Oh, it's coming. They told me September 23rd. If it don't happen then, it's going to start then. I don't think I can go on. I don't think I can finish this video. I'm so scared and depressed. What did Jesus say? What did the Christ say right at the very beginning? He said, he departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him and said, wow, look at the temple. And what did Jesus say? The Christ said, these things I want to show you, there won't be even one stone left upon another. And what did they say? Tell us when these things are going to happen. What's going to be the end of the world? The end of their world. Daniel 70th week in the book of Daniel. Get the book. I'm telling you, it's $3.99. I'm going to reduce that to $1.99. Wait until you buy it, because I think everyone needs to see that before September 23rd. I'm going to reduce that. I'm going to reduce that to 99 cents. We're going to reduce that one to 99 cents so everybody can get it. It's that important. End of the world, biblically speaking. Little mustache hair, pardon me. End of the world, biblically speaking, is not what we think the end of the world is. They don't see it the way we see it. They didn't see it the way they didn't saw it the way we see it. And I just proved that to you. So that should help you feel even better about this whole September 23, 2017, yada, yada, yada. Let me get back up to the top and give me until after the show with Heidi to change that book price. I'm going to change it. Let me say that again. I'm going to change it from $3.99 to 99 cents. I know it's stupid. I shouldn't do it because, you know, I mean, that's like giving every one of you $3. I love you, but I don't know if I can give every one of you $3. Rooney's like, you're going to give everybody $3? How am I going to eat? But it's so important that people get that book. I'm going to reduce it to 99 cents. All right. So let's look at the questions. It is a lie. Rock on, brother. Thank you. Will do. North Korea will have enough of the little fat kid and they'll have their own revolution. Yeah, probably. Fear-based. I'll troll each and every one of those YouTube channels. Good, do it. Hello, sexy. Well, hi there. I'm sure she's not talking to me, but I wonder what the new date will be. Preach it, brother. I did get into preacher mode for a minute, didn't I? Earth vibrations will rise. This is awesome. Thank you, Cuban Pixie. You tell the truth, the ends of the earth shall come, for there's false ones waiting for those dollars. They don't want no tinkle. They want crinkle. Dollars. Incredible timing. Juan, nice to see you. Chris Putnam and his buddy Tom Horn. I'm challenging all you slimy little baby girls in your little dresses that are afraid to debate me. I got nothing against girls in dresses. I'm just trying to provoke one of these guys by saying he probably wears Barbie underoos. See if they'll come and debate me. I don't want to die. None of us do, brother. Everybody wants to move. Everybody wants to ascend, but nobody wants to die. Tom is still alive. Well, I wonder if he's is he a man or is he a mouse? Old Testament saying low and loose. Which word, which time, and by whose perception is this coming? In Hinduism, there's been multiple world endings, and we are still fine, holy heretic. I get you. You don't debate honestly. You said nowhere in Scripture does it say Christ comes with signs in the end days. Mark 13:26 does not. Colin, Jesus, the Christ himself said, there will be no signs. Mark 13-26 doesn't say there's going to be signs. And if it does say there's going to be signs, guess what? Were you awake? Somebody shake him. Were you awake and see what the signs of the times mean, what the end of the world is they're talking about? What about the constellations in the Bible that will be the same as Mun? I don't know what you mean by Mun. $6 million question, was they real? Holy heretic, that's what the Bible writers were saying. The end of the world to them, as we saw by the words of the Christ, was they were talking about the destruction of Jerusalem. The point is, every bit of Bible prophecy was pointing at AD 70. There's nothing to be fulfilled after that. Very little, and it's already been fulfilled. Everybody taught that. The only person that ever taught there's anything more to come, future rapture, future tribulation, future rebuilt temple, future anything, it's Jesuit doctrine. Christ was not a Christian. Was God a Christian? Inconceivable. Were they real people? Who knows, Lewis? That's a great question. I'm watching you at work in the break room. I don't think my coworkers are a fan of the truth. Colin, CJM, I got to hand it to you, brother. That's a good one. Points to you. He says, please stop calling me sexy, Manx. Oh, thank goodness. Do you have a list of the diamonds in the Bible? Oh, well, I did the Diamond New Testament, which needs to be revised. That's a good idea. Hello, Todd McDaniel. We are not going to allow you to spam, CJM. Sorry. Diamond New Testament. Yep. They blocked my comment, even though it's on his website that I cited. Oh, you trolled one of those peeps? Jeff, your thoughts on Trump? Why you want to do that to me, Lewis? I voted for Trump, hoping that he would be the last great hope for true Jeffersonian American democracy. I happen to think he's is he a good moral guy? I don't know, but he's a man's man. And I thought he was going to go in there and kick ass and take names, but I think he's finding out, holy crap, this swamp's a lot deeper than I thought. I think he thought he could do something, found out it's a lot harder than he thought it was. And I wish I'd never voted for anybody. I don't think I ever will again. It's like Mark Twain said, if voting was that important, they wouldn't let us do it. It's not a wall of the original temple. Absolutely not. The destruction of the whole world. That's not what the text says, CJM. I am the master of Bible Hub. I'm the Bible Hub ninja. And the people that know, that run Bible Hub would probably soil their Barbie underoos if they knew what I was using it for. I'm beginning to think that we may be being trolled by Manx. Just beginning to wonder. The rapture sounds sexy, don't it? Yeah, I think we're being trolled. Might have to put her in timeout, but she'd probably like that. I'll debate you on anything else. Great debater. Worst possible topic for me. That's why I'm here. Jen, I have a feeling we agree on most things. It'd be hard for us to debate. Doing good, Todd. Thanks. Bible's full of astrotheology. Yeah. Good question about the germs in the Bible. Oh, the gems. Barbie undies, underoos, pull-ups. He's doing the best he can. Yeah. Twain did always nail it. Ron Paul, Gary Johnson. Gary Johnson, what a nutcase he turned out to be. Yeah, Ron Paul, interesting stuff. All righty. I think I need to go and get ready for Heidi. Baby with handcuffs. Yes, it is. The chip, Mark of the Beast, trance. It's all a trance. It's all part of the you know what. Jen, don't let Manx hear you say that. Might get ugly. Depending upon your personal point of view, far be it for me to pass any judgment. All right, folks, we're going to have Heidi Vandenberg coming up at 8 p.m. to talk about not only astrology, but I got some pages for her. Got some questions. I'm looking forward to it. She's a good guest. I've seen her on her channel. And we are ready to, it was an important question because you're on to something much deeper, but can't get into it here. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Lewis. What was the question you asked? Oh, Trump? Yeah. I agree. It probably is a deeper question. And, I know it seems silly and crazy, but something gnaws in the back of my head about that whole Trump Tesla time travel connection thing. Something just, woo. Yeah, we're clear, crystal clear, Tiffany. Something about that. I mean, just something, Boo. All right. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. We'll be back in 45 minutes. Hope I can talk in 45 minutes. Heidi is exemplary. Exemplary of what? And I am a little bit prejudiced towards Trump because I met him back in the late 80s, early 90s, and he was very gracious to me. So there you go. And to be fair, we have to say that with the benefit of retrospect, love him, hate him, Barack Obama came into office thinking he was actually going to be president and he was actually going to get to do some stuff. And the same thing happened to him. They slapped him around, but Obama, being, a liberal and a Democrat, kind of gave in a little bit easier than Trump being an outsider populist and the self-professed smartest man in the history of men. That's why I don't believe Trump is a Mason. That's wrong. Trump is not a Mason. I did see the Barron Trump thing. That creeps me out, brother. Trump's not a Mason. That's inaccurate information. Donald Trump is not a Freemason. Yeah. Zachary Price, you're exactly right. Donald Trump is not a Freemason. So much for that. Jen, I met Hillary too, and I'm going to end with this. Jen, I met Hillary, and when I looked at her, I thought I looked into the eyes of pure evil. She was so mean and nasty because I met Bill, and Bill shook my hand. I had a guy that worked in the White House, was on Newt Gingrich's. Oh, Zachary Price is a Mason, so there you go. He was on Newt Gingrich's staff, and they had to quit letting Gingrich go talk to Clinton alone because Clinton was so powerful in his manipulation and convincing that Gingrich would come back saying, "Oh, let's do what Clinton wants to do." So I met Bill, very gracious guy, and it was at a political event, and this is where I was back then. It's not where I am now. I had a Buchanan for president button on. I was working for Pat, and Bill laughed, just a nice guy. Hillary looked at me smiling. She saw that button, and oh, she went so cold, Jen. I thought I was looking in the eyes of pure evil. So I concur. Lewis, Todd is a Mason. I can guarantee you Donald Trump is not a Mason. He is not a Freemason, for what it's worth. All righty then. 41 minutes until Heidi Vandenberg. Looking forward to that. Save up your questions. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your in-laws, tell any outlaws that you might see. Yeah, Bill is one of the most charismatic people I've ever met. It pains me to say this, but he was at least when I met the two men, Clinton was far more charismatic than Reagan, which shocked me. Jen Morris, contact me. I want to ask you a question about possibly doing something, please. If you would. I don't mean to be telling you what to do, but please contact me. All righty then. Rushing in where angels fear to tread. That's kind of what I do. That's kind of what we do. So we'll be back in just a few minutes with Heidi Vandenberg on Vedic astrology and so much more. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your answers. Don't hesitate to send them. Make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure that you have pressed the bell. And let's get some more people to this channel. Those of you that love truth, those of you that ask questions and question answers, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, and I salute you.